Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the IWCA show. My name is Gabriel Gutierrez, your host. I'm here talking with Steve Williams today. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm very well, Gabriel. Thank you very much for asking me to participate.
Excellent. Well, we're glad that were able to make the time. Steve is living overseas. He's near London, so it's night over there for you right now, right?
Yeah, it's around 8 p.m. here right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's morning for us. So we have a little bit of a difference, but one thing that is the same is the solar industry, and that's why we wanted to have you on. So amongst the many different things that you do, you are the owner of Clean Solar Solutions. So you tell us a little bit about your experience in the solar industry and why that's something that you've been interested in and have wanted to make a difference for us here in the IWCA.
Sure. So my background is actually window cleaning. I owned a window cleaning company for 26 years. I actually sold it just a couple of months ago, but I've been very engaged in the window cleaning industry across here in the UK. There was a transition across from the window cleaning industry across into solar. I had a window cleaning customer that asked me to clean their solar panels for them. I actually said no to them twice originally. So they asked me to clean their panels. I said no. 2 months later, I went back to clean the windows again. They said, Steve, will you clean our solar panels? We can't find anybody to do it. And based on health and safety grounds, that was my main concern. I was spraying water onto electricity creating panels with, at the time, years ago, a metal pole in my hand. And I knew that that had the potential to do magical things to me. So I originally said no based on safety grounds, but then I went back a third time to clean their windows 2 months later, and they said, we cannot find anybody. And I said, well, you've got to be typing the wrong thing into Google then. So I went home early from work that day, sat on the internet trying to find a local solar panel cleaning company for this client of mine, couldn't find anybody. And it kept me awake that night. And I was like, well, there's got to be something in this. So the next day, instead of going out window cleaning, I sat at home and on the internet trying to find any UK-based solar panel cleaning company, a solar panel cleaning company in the UK. I couldn't find any solar panel cleaning information that was UK-based either. So I was like, well, I have to explore this now. So that was how I got into solar panel cleaning, really. I started by cleaning those folks' solar panels. I had to look into were there any electrocution risks. The answer to that is yes. So I had to figure out, okay, how do I mitigate those risks? So it was all about education in the early days. And then eventually I thought, okay, I'm confident to offer solar panel cleaning as a service to the wider market. I wrote a solar panel cleaning webpage on my window cleaning website. And because there was no competition in the UK for the Google rank, and then within electricity utility company contacted me and said, we've got a national contract that we're looking to regionalize. Are you interested in the Midlands region? Because I lived right in the center of the UK at the time. So I said, yeah, sure. So I went down to their offices, had a meeting with them, an hour and a half meeting. At the end of the meeting, they said, well, what do you want from us? And I remember sitting there thinking, you're only here once. So I said to them, I want the national contract. I want the whole of the UK. If you're just going to give me the Midlands, I'm not interested. And said, well, I hoped you were going to say that because we can't find anyone else with your expertise. So I was one man in a van working alone, and then I had to figure out within 3 months how to start covering the whole of the UK for solar panel cleaning. And then as soon as I completed that first round of contract, I was able to put that utilities company on my website. And as soon as you can say that you're an approved contractor for British Gas, well, the work just came flooding in. And so I set up a new solar cleaning company, and the rest, as they say, is history. Yeah.
So about what year was that when that happened?
It was 2012 when I originally started cleaning the solar panels, and then I set up the solar company in 2013.
Well, I mean, that's amazing because that's a lot. That's 10 years now of experience in not only just regular residential solar panel, but like you said, you're working for government agencies. So I'm sure there's a lot of other stipulations you had to keep in mind with those.
Yeah, definitely. The markets vary hugely. Residential is obviously very different to working on commercial or industrial sites. C&I market is very different to working on agricultural sites. Only today, I was working on one of King Charles's farms, actually.
Oh, wow.
We do some work. He's got a portfolio. Yeah, he's got a portfolio of farms. So we do all of that portfolio for the Royals there. And then the utility scale, the big ground mount stuff, that's very different approach again. And then I've also been able to clean in the past 2 or 3 floating solar arrays where they put the solar panels literally on the surface of the water on some floats.
Yeah,
And so that requires a different approach as well.
sure.
So all of it really is you need a lot of knowledge to tackle each of those areas. I've been fortunate enough to work in all of them over the last 10 years. So yeah, I've accumulated a lot of knowledge. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I know the IWCA has been really appreciative of your joining the solar panel committee for them. Could you tell us a little bit of how you got involved with IWCA and what the goals are of the committee from here on out?
Yeah, sure. So I joined a Facebook group. Someone said to me, you should join this Facebook group because your input would be valuable. So I joined the group. I spectated in the group for a while, was watching what other people were posting on there, which was mainly America-based posts. And I was just really, really shocked, to be honest, at the health and safety standards or lack thereof, more specifically. And I was really quite surprised. And so I started to talk and give my opinion on various practices that I saw going on and why they weren't the safest and other things that people could do to improve their safety. And I was actually approached by Brandy Harper privately to say, you know, who she was, part of the IWCA. She feels that my input would be valuable to a group there. So that's how I became engaged with the IWCA originally.
Nice.
Was via some contact from Brandy. And then I attended the IWCA convention just gone in Vegas in January, which was a really enjoyable event. I had a great time out there. Met yourself and some other folks out there. Get some good friends out there now, which was really good. And I was able to co-deliver along with Carla Dawson some classes out there regarding safety and the need for panel cleaning and equipment and other topics such as these. And really, the solar committee that the IWCA have put together are very much safety focused. They recognize, as I do, that safety standards need to improve across the industry. We know there's a transition that's relatively easy to make from window cleaning into solar panel cleaning. It's a transition I made. But I recognize that while there is a transition there, they are actually totally different industries and they do need very different approaches. So the long-term goal, I think, for the IWCA as an organization is to educate their members, particularly starting with health and safety. We're going to push the health and safety quite strongly and hopefully give people some guidance on training, give some people a guidance on PPE, highlighting where the main electrocution risks are and things like this. And also working at height is different in many aspects to window cleaning. You're either doing rope descent work, mainly with window cleaning or cleaning with water-fed poles from the ground, whereas the bulk of what you'll do when you're doing residential cleans is at roof level. The bulk of what you're going to do in commercial and industrial and agricultural is at roof level. So also looking to improve the health and safety standards surrounding working at height. And then further down the line, we'd like to teach and educate people in regard to the wider sphere, not just of cleaning, but what we as a solar industry term O&M, which is operations and maintenance. So helping window cleaners develop beyond a solar panel cleaner into more of an operations and maintenance operative for the solar industry and to really, create extra revenue for themselves via that revenue stream. So we've got the immediate things that we're discussing, health and safety, and then we've got the longer term goals as well, which will be extensive guidance.
Wow, very interesting. So you guys are really looking to kind of not just, obviously keeping people who are cleaning solar panels safe, that's important, but you're looking into kind of the growth and the training of the industry as well.
Yeah, it's going to be huge because over here in the UK right now, we've got a burgeoning solar market. We're going through our second big phase of growth. And there simply is not enough people here in the solar industry to cope with the growth. We recognise that the same is happening probably in the US, although you're probably a little bit further behind in the growth curve. But certainly we know that solar is becoming a massive industry out there, and there will be a massive lack of people with the relevant knowledge needed.
So where would you say is the important part that we as Americans have to make changes with? You've had a chance to see, like you said, in groups, pictures posted, videos posted, that type of thing. Safety wise, what are some either tools or best practices that we need to implement that is you see kind of as one of our biggest mistakes or violations perhaps that we might be making right now?
Working at height is the first thing. I don't see many instances at all where people are working at height safely, be that with edge protection or correct use of harness, or even the correct type of harness for solar panel cleaning, because you can't just clean with any old harness when it comes to solar panel cleaning. And around electricity, you need a different sort of body harness. So that's the first thing there, really. Working at heights, it really needs to be looked at strongly, because people are instantly going to ladders. Whereas if you look at OSHA guidance and the OSHA working at height risk hierarchy, actually ladders are your last resort for getting to an elevated place of work. So we're looking closely at what OSHA require from people. Now, it's interesting because I've come across this attitude from the American guys who are out panel cleaning, saying OSHA doesn't apply to me because I'm just a single man operative. So therefore it doesn't apply. Well, gravity certainly applies to everybody, whether you're a one-man operative or whether you've got 500 guys working for you. Yeah. And electricity applies whether you're working alone or whether you're working as part of a big company as well. So yes, OSHA can't fine you if you violate their code of conduct, but actually the principles of safe work that OSHA have put in place apply to everybody. Yes. One-man, single businesses, and also, multi-van operations. So that's what I'm looking to sort of do privately and in conjunction with the IWCA, is get people to adhere more closely to OSHA guidance. It's only there for people's protection. And then the other thing is as well, so that's the working at height aspect. That's one. The second one is about electrocution. So window cleaning carries virtually no risk of electrocution on a daily basis. You've got the risk of the overhead power lines if you're not careful with your pole. We know about this. But actually physically cleaning in a window, there's no electrocution risk while your brush is there. All of the time when you're cleaning solar panels, every single second that brush is making contact with the panel, there's a risk of electrocution. People need to understand that you can't turn panels off. People think, oh, well, I'll go and turn the switches off and the panels are going to go off. Well, that's a fallacy as well. That just simply isn't true. So these are the sorts of education that people need to go through. There is now a training program which allows people to get that education. So they're the two big risks. Falling from height needs to, that needs to be looked at in depth, and also the risk of electrocution. Working with a water-fed pole to clean windows is very different than cleaning solar panels, and people need to understand that loud and clear.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you feel like there's like for instance, we have the OSHA 1910, which is usually what's applied to window cleaners. It doesn't sound like that has all the safety training necessary for the solar panel cleaning. Do you feel there needs to be another designation through OSHA specifically for solar panel cleaning?
Maybe it will get its own subsection. I mean, I'd like to see it for sure. I find that when I read about solar companies that have been fined by OSHA, they are usually solar installers, and usually the violations come from OSHA 1910 or OSHA 1926. They're the two main groups where people seem to be falling short. A lot of the violations, or by far actually, the main violations are falls from height, where people do not protect themselves or their employees from falls from height. Electrocution is a secondary one. It does occur, but it's more rare. But don't forget, with solar installers, 98 to 99% of the work that a solar installer does is when that system is dead.
Yes.
The absolute last thing that they do is energize the system. So that's why there's not many instances of electrocution around solar installers, is because they're dealing with dead systems. When we're a solar panel cleaner or a solar maintenance operative, the systems are always live. So electrocutions are going on, but people are keeping them quiet. They're not reporting them through to OSHA. OSHA are not finding out about them yet. So I think that some of the principles from 1910 and 1926 do apply. I'd like to see solar become a subcategory all of its own, in the same way that electricians are, in the same way that roofers are, and all these other trades.
Very nice. Yeah, I think I'd like to see that as well. And one more question. So you mentioned some of the training that takes place during our IWCA convention in January. We had a lot of training and certifications there. Is there somewhere that a company can get that training and certification apart from the convention?
There is. So if people go to www.theisca.org, so that's THEISCA, theisca.org, that'll take them to the website of the International Solar Cleaning Academy. If they click the safety courses and PPE tab, then we've got country-specific courses. We've got one for the US, one for the UK, one for Australia, Canada, South Africa, and we're working our way around the world. We just recently, last week, released a Portuguese translation specifically for Brazil.
Nice.
Last night, we've had the Latin American Spanish version come through to us, so we'll be uploading that. That will actually be country-specific for Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Mexico, and some of the other Latin American countries as well. And we've also had more of a classical Spanish version done specifically for Spain as well. So we're trying to give it a true international feel. So the ISCA.org is where people are able to pick up the training. And then at the end of the training course, there's a link which takes them through to the PPE section of our website, where they can buy a PPE bundle, which is globally recognized as the standard for solar panel cleaning PPE. So the correct PPE they can find as part of a bundle there. So that's where they can get the current training online. That's available obviously 365 days a year. And then the next lot of in-person training will be at the IWCA convention in January in Galveston, Texas. So people, if they wish, can come and take the training, and I'll be across there with you folks to help deliver that.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing you there, and we'll probably have you on again as we get closer to that convention, so you can kind of fill us in on some of the classes. But Steve, we're really excited to have you on board. Your knowledge in the industry is super valuable, and we're really excited as IWCA to start to get this education part, especially with the safety, kind of more into the hands of the single owner operators. Like you said, maybe they don't pay an OSHA fee, but that electrocution fee is very expensive. We don't want to pay that, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You know, the cost of inaction is often more expensive than the cost of action. So it's better that people prevent these things from happening rather than looking for a cure after. And I think it's important just to conclude as well, Gabriel, that I know that one of the goals from the IWCA is to be contacting OSHA direct with this information that we're producing, so that hopefully then I think the IWCA are ambassadors towards OSHA or for OSHA. So we hope to submit all of our material across to them, so that OSHA will look at it for themselves and go, okay, yeah, we're gonna now publish this information ourselves. So using the IWCA ambassadorship is definitely a goal as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for your time, Steve. We really appreciate you taking time to talk with us. Thank everyone for listening. We hope that you're able to benefit. Please go back and look at, what was the website again for the training?
Yeah, so the website training is theisca.org. So that's www. And then it's Tango Hotel Echo Indigo Sierra C for Charlie A for Alpha.org. So theisca.org.
Well, thank you so much. So you guys take care. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time.